So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is a short update from When to Trade. Maybe if you've followed our website, it has been quiet for the last times, but it does not mean that we are not intensive working on some real new stuff. As you know, we don't focus on pushing out new things every week or months. So there are two things going on. First of all, the dynamic CyclePhasing indicator, which has been released in 2015, now has more or less a year on its back above its release. So let's check and shortly review how it performed in the year of 2015, more or less. So the CyclePhasing indicator, first of all, combines long-term and short-term cycle and signals when the long and short-term cycle comes into alignment regarding their phases. So it's a cycles within cycles indicator, which you can see here as red line on the chart. So when we have a high correlation between our long-term and short-term cycle phasing above a threshold level, this indicates periods in the market where the cycles indicate they are aligned, and if we have a cycles within cycles alignment, we have situations where we should monitor closely the market. So the CyclePhasing indicator is just the further development of our dynamic cycles indicator. So it makes it much easier to detect dynamic cycle alignments in the market without the need to plot each dynamic cycle on its own and follow it. So we released this indicator back in April 2015, and we have also issued an alert that this high level of the CyclePhasing indicator was not seen for over a year. So this gave us already a real crucial warning in the market that in April the cycles have reached an alignment, and as we can now look back to this point, this was more or less really the market high which we have seen now for a year or so. So this was our live forecast. We did here back in April, and keep in mind that we issued the warning that we now have a peak above 150 on April 2015. So this have been an important market situations as we know from today. So, but let's look further. I've plotted here the CycleSwing index, which gives us the trading signals. So the cycle trading strategy, which I also have issued here, is watch for the CyclePhasing come into alignment, and then check for the trade entry if the CycleSwing, like an ultra smooth momentum of the market, gives us an indication of should we enter a trade. So in these top situations here, we would look for the CycleSwing to indicate a short or to trigger a short trade, and in this bottoming areas we will look for the CycleSwing index to trigger long trades here. If this comes into play, our cycle strategy gives us some trading signals. So let's start in April here, where we had a nice divergence between the CycleSwing and the price chart here during these times, and this happens exactly as our CyclePhasing indicator reached the high. So the CycleSwing triggered a sell signal here during a period where the CyclePhasing reached a real high point. So this was a real short signal here in the market based on our cycle strategy here. So now interesting here that from the cycles perspective, from the alignment, this looked like more or less a low alignment here. So we need to look in our CycleSwing index if our swing index would trigger a long trade here. So and what you can see here is that we have diverging signals here. So the CycleSwing would trade a short trade during a period where we would look for long trades. So this is no valid signal at this point in time here, so we can skip this. The next interesting timing window would be this situation here, where we would again look for the cycle swing to trigger a long trade. And again, the cycle swing here in this area triggers more or less a short trade, but this is invalidated as we have two diverging signals here. So also no signal here. So let's look forward until the next timing window comes into place, which we see here, where the cycle phasing now indicates that we have an alignment between long and short-term cycles, and we could look for a trigger on the short trade. And in this point in time here, our CycleSwing index also triggered this nice short signal here. So here we have an alignment and a valid trade signal here. So at this point in time here, this was where we had this phasing alignment and the signal of the CycleSwing index here during this cycle here. So exactly at this point it triggered the second sell trade here. So it's a good point that it's in these sideways moves, the long signals have not been valid trade signals, as I've shown you here. So these two sell signals come into play during the summer of 2015. So an interesting wise, a real sharp drop happened afterwards. So from the cycles perspective, we have been perfectly prepared on the short side to get all these on the short side here. So then let's look out for the next period, which is here, where in this area from the dynamic cycle we would look for triggers of long trades here. And on our CycleSwing index, exactly in this time frame, we triggered a long trade during this period here. So in this period here, a real long trade was triggered here somewhere here in this period, where we had the CycleSwing long trade in a period where the phasing was confirmed in this area here. So now let's move forward. Here's the next timing window where we are at our threshold level from the phasing score. So at this point in time we could look out for short trades. And interesting here in this point in time, we have a huge divergence between the CycleSwing, which is a real cool trading indicator if you see these divergence on price and CycleSwing index here. And this turn here, so the second turn, as you can see here on the CycleSwing index, happened exactly in alignment with the CyclePhasing score here at this point. So we have a clear sell signal here on the CycleSwing, which is confirmed by the CyclePhasing score, and it happened exactly at this point in time here. So this has been the third sell signal here on our chart based on these cycle signals here. So now let's move on. So the next window would be here, where we would look out for long signals from the trading perspective as the CyclePhasing signaling cycle alignment here. But in this instance here, we see that the CycleSwing index would again trigger a short trade here, where we would like to see long trades here. So this is no valid signal at all. We can skip this one and move forward into the next period, where we would watch out in this situation or on this timing window here for the next long trade, which was triggered here, but this is not valid from the timing window here. So there we have a nice divergence again between our cycles swing momentum and the price action happening here. So it happens exactly in this timing window where we have the cycle's low alignment into place. So this triggered now a long trade here somewhere. Hard to trade, but from a perspective here it would be valid. And now, as we are now at today's point in time, it gets quite interesting here, because we have another interesting live situation now, where we have again a divergence on the CycleSwing index between price and our CycleSwing. So we have here triggered a sell signal now, and this happens exactly again in a very interesting timing window, where the CyclePhasing is signaling a long and short-term alignment phasing to look out for short signals. So this is a valid valid short signal as of today, as I'm recording this session here. So to review this, you can see what was real nice to see performing here. The short trade where you had the opportunity to go short in the summer of 2015. Then here the bottom was indicated with an upturn to this point in time here. And then we had this down move here to this point in time. And then we had the long signal given here, and now at today's point in time, the current setup just shows us a valid sell signal in the market now. So yeah, let's watch out how this plays out, and I think it shows you really nicely how this indicator combination of the new CyclePhasing score makes it really easy to look out for the dynamic cycles to come into alignment and to use the good CycleSwing index then to trigger our trades from an entry and exit perspective here. So this is how we trade cycles. This is to give you an update how it performed, our new indicator here during the year of 2015, and we have an interesting situation just lining up for today. So thanks for listening.